You ready to bless God now? All right, let's get this party started. Let's give him praise. Let's go ahead and lift his name up. Give him a clap offering. Give him a shout and say, thank you, Lord, for you are good and your mercies endure forever. Hallelujah.
I would say a large amount of people only see me is, on stage, in the pulpit, giving a word of encouragement or being the person they identify with that has said something to them that has helped compel or change their lives. But, I think oftentimes they don't realize the humanity of the individual. And I think for me, because of what I believe and because of the platform that God has me on, it's important for people to see that side. And let the mask come down, let the pride come down, because I believe out of that vulnerability is where, people really find help. But I haven't always been this way. It's been a lesson learned through time, through healing, through help. I remember waking up on a Sunday morning. I have to come, you have to do ministry. And, again, as pastors, right? So now I have to come. And it's like I don't have the option not to be okay, right? So I have to muster up enough wherewithal within me to, okay, let's put on the face, let's make sure the S is on my chest, the cape is on my back, because I got to walk in, my life's got to be put together so that I can put other people's lives together.
I noticed something just wasn't right, but I just asked what's wrong, and that was like something broke. And it was just tears, it was anger, it was all of these emotions that were not characteristic of him. And that's when I knew, okay, now I'm looking at someone who is completely different than the person that I know him to be.
Hope was gone, so I didn't care about being a pastor. I didn't care about living. Part of me, the reality was I was frustrated that I was still alive.
And that marked when we knew, okay, we have to do more than what we're doing, because now it's going to a place of not being able to manage any emotion and, just not being able to function. I knew some of the signs of depression. And so I knew that this looks like a depressive state. So we should probably have a conversation about it, and we should probably get some help so that we can understand it more and then also move beyond it becoming the center of our lives. They were able to help us identify what was going on, and that was depression and anxiety.
And it was a God thing that I was married, because I say this all the time, if I wasn't married, I don't think I'd be alive, because it gave me that hunch to fight. I just want to be able to actually enjoy the gift that God gave me. I can't even enjoy a wife because of this, and I knew at that point, I said, Tiff, this is deep, we need help, I need help. Once we were beginning to get help, and I kind of realized what it was. And I said, I've been this way my whole life. Growing up in a home and finding out my father's diagnosis with, HIV and AIDS at the age of 4. Having a mother who was chronically ill. Having to try to process that with a brain that's not even fully developed. And that's the craziest thing about it is when things aren't treated, dysfunction can become norm. But I think there comes a point where you realize I wasn't making it. And then you have to define what's coping and what's healing. And, now I think we've just gotten to the place where we've said, I've coped for a long time. So when we discovered healing and almost gave ourselves the permission to get help, the shift has been, I think, a freedom and a burden lifted.
The first bit of hope I had was when he made the decision to get the help, because then I knew that he was committed to the process, and I saw the difference it made, and I saw a peace come over him that I hadn't seen in a very long time.
Being, in inpatient therapy for my mental health. It was the darkest time, but transparently one of the most refreshing times I've ever had, because it was just that moment where you can be like, you know what, I'm not okay, but I'm okay with not being okay. Because, this is why I'm not okay, and okay.
After that major event and going into the inpatient therapy and coming out with tools and understanding, now we've gotten to a place where some days are harder than others, but they're nowhere near what they used to be, and they don't stop life, and it doesn't stop us from just living and being who we are.
But I think the biggest thing for me was in that. So when people began to share their story, I'm like, wait a minute, that's a business owner. Okay? That's a college professor. Wow, this person makes more money than I could have ever imagined. But you know what? We all struggle with the same thing.
What we found in our sharing is that there are more people that experience anxiety and depression than people who don't. There are times in your life where you experience something that can shake the foundation of who you are, and then you are forced to manage your emotions in a way that you may not be able to handle. And it's really just about how you respond to the emotions and how you respond to the place that determines whether it becomes your life or whether it becomes a time in your life.
Truthfully, I want to speak to leaders, the people who are the fixers, the helpers who may need help. You know, my message to other pastors, give yourself a moment to be human. It's not this strive, perform, do, make happen. It's this, you know what? Be. Because if you be, now you're embracing what was already done. You know, your congregation does not need an idol to worship. Your congregation needs a person to say, you know what? I'm not perfect. I haven't always got it right. But thank God for Jesus. And let's embrace this journey called life together. And so, you know, it's opened some interesting doors, but it's also closed some doors because not everybody's ready for that type of vulnerability. It's changed. My ministry has changed my message because now I'm not preaching from an informational, you know, it's not theory anymore. You know, I'm walking you through the darkness. I've been there. You know, a lot of this has just helped us. We're good, you know, but our lives are peaceful because this is who we are. But we can rest in that.